activity after that, we played life-size Candyland, and you can read on the PowerPoint how we did that, and I just kind of used the game and made the little drawing cards, and at the end they got candy, and I thought the teams might think it was dumb, but they didn't. They loved it, and they wanted to play it over and over again, and especially since they got candy at the end. And then we had seen the large cards at another activity, and they were way expensive, and so Carolyn scanned these into the computer and printed them out on color copy, our color printer, and then we played war, just like you played when you were a child, and they stood facing each other, and they had a lot of fun with that. We even did that with our younger kids in our after-school special. The altered books, I was a little afraid of this one, but we had been collecting our discarded books for a long time, and we had to sand the shiny part off a little bit, and then painted them. The directions said to do it with gesso, and it really should have had another coat, but gesso is expensive, and I had house paint primer left from doing my kitchen, so we painted it with primer. If it had another coat, it would have been better. And then the kids just, like a scrapbook, created their own book. One girl did a recipe book with hers, and that was a lot of fun. And the boys even liked that. The boys went crazy on that too. The ceiling tiles, we just really took a gamble this summer with Expressing Yourself. We used the ceiling tiles in our children's area of the basement downstairs, and we took them down and painted them, thinking that next year's budget will buy new ceiling tiles. And then the janitor said, "Do you think you're going to find the same pattern, the same color?" And I'm like, "I don't care." But the kids went crazy with that, and again, we had some paints that were house paints, and don't do that. It doesn't come off the cement outside. But we did have butcher paper that they took home the week before so they could kind of plan out a design, but not very many of the kids did that. They just expressed themselves when they got there. And so that's hanging up still in our library. The glass etching, again, I was a little bit nervous, but it turned out okay. One thing we have an old building, so it didn't matter when we washed the etching gel off in the sink, but if you have a nice, like marble sinks and stuff, don't wash the etching stuff off in your sinks because it'll etch them. So we had them wear the disposable rubber gloves so it didn't get on them, and use Q-tips. We poured some of the gel in little discarded pill bottles, so they just had small amounts. And we cut out their designs with a Cricut. We have a Cricut. We're very fortunate. But the kids some of them went crazy, and they wanted us to do a whole sentence they wanted cut out with the Cricut so they could etch that on the glass. So we had to kind of keep them from going crazy on that. We have one class up here that one of the girls did. The pop play was just something we came up with. I think, did we hear about this somewhere, Andrea?
I think so.
We just saved all the packing stuff in the library, and then we just let them go crazy popping it, and they just loved it. I didn't know they'd like it so much, but the boys really loved it. They stamped on it, they sat on it, they twisted it, and we had contests with it. We let them just go for it, making as much noise as they wanted. The one thing is that we were downstairs so that the rest of the library couldn't hear us. And then afterwards we did a balloon war, which the boys really loved. We have played games a couple of times, and Bonko, again, I wasn't sure how this would go over, but the boys are asking to do it again. They really enjoyed it. Once they got the rules down, throwing the dice, and they thought they were in Las Vegas. I don't know that we even had a prize for Bonko. Did we have a prize? Just something little. And Cranium, I had to sort through the cards because there is some inappropriate questions in Cranium, kind of adult things. So I sorted through the cards because we have, most of our teams are like 12 and 13. And so I simplified it, and we played that, and everybody got the small container of Play-Doh for the sculpting things, and we left in a lot of the sculpting part of training, and they got to take the Play-Doh home. And most of them, even though they're teens, they still like the smell of Play-Doh. Name that team Jeopardy. She was very creative. What were the programs you used?
I used Gold Wave to kind of make segments from the music clips that I had. I kind of do the same thing.
I was surprised. The teams know their music. They know their music, and even though we had different categories, there was usually somebody on a team who knew the Broadway plays, or they knew the things from different decades, or they knew country, or they knew the classics because they were all in band. I was really surprised with the classics that they knew. If you want a copy of our playlist, we didn't put it on the PowerPoint, but it's probably better if you come up with your own ideas for playlists. But you could email Andrea if you want a copy of the ones we did. And so our Jeopardy challenge was the good, the bad, and the ugly, and nobody knew that until we gave them a really good hint. And because they probably haven't seen those westerns. The picture scavenger hunt, this has been on the wiki already, this idea, and we had a lot of fun with this last fall. And one thing I didn't put on our outline up here is that at least one of their team members had to be in the picture. And we had 3 teams. There was an adult with each group, and we stayed within a couple block radius of the library. And in Pleasant Grove, we don't have very many busy streets or intersections, so it was we stayed in a safe area and had them back before it got dark. And then we had a slide presentation. We downloaded their pictures onto the laptop, so there was a slide presentation after they all got back so they could see each other's pictures. Poetry night turned out more fun than we thought it would. I found an idea on the web. There's actually a website where teens contribute to a poem. You've all probably done this, where you fold the paper down, you write the first line, the next person writes the second line, and that's folded down before it's passed on. So then the third person only sees what the second person wrote, and it's folded down, so you only see one line ahead of you. And we passed it around. Everybody started one, and it passed around. Everybody was writing 8 poems at a time. I think there was 8 of us that night. So we were all writing those 8 poems, and then at the end we read them, and they were hilarious. Talking is something I hate. The talker always take my cake. What I like better is cat's fur and stroking baby tiger's fur. Will make the mother show her sharp white teeth, and when she does, with her I'll shriek, for she is too beautiful for me. They're just weird, and they love it. They love it, love it. And we had a lot of poetry books out, and then they also chose one that they performed, kind of acted out for our younger children the next week for our after-school specials. The teens came back and they performed their poetry, kind of an open mic kind of thing. We're thinking about doing gingerbread again this year because that was our biggest draw. We had more kids come to that we haven't seen at other times. We advertised with Silk Marsh at the junior high, and so the kids saw that we were doing gingerbread houses, and we had a lot of boys show up for that too. And we just kind of let them go. We gave them a certain number of graham crackers and a Ziploc bag with the corner just cut out with the frosting in it. I had to run home and make more frosting in the middle. They use more than you think they're going to, and they were extremely creative. But one boy's house imploded right in the middle. He had it huge, and it just fell in on itself. But it was a really good thing. And that is the last one, I think. Yay!